no finish, them won't fight us. If them they run, them no fit catch up. I know they from say too righteous. No come they from say you too like us. They no get it time, but they hate and they bad energy. Got my mind on my money. Make you dance like broccoli. Steady clean like.
To make this, you will need any fabric of your type, as long as it's not stretchy. It's cotton or satin. Any of those fabric will work for this wrap skirt. For the amount of fabric you need, guys, remember that we're making this for all sizes, so whatever we're doing, just impute your own size to this. So you're going to take round the hips measurements of your client. Whatever you get, you're going to be adding sewing allowance to that, and you're going to add 12 inches to that. For example, the round hips I'm making is 34 inches. I'm going to add 1 inch sewing allowance to that, which will make it 35, and then I'm going to add 12 inches to that, and that is going to give me 47 inches. Now we are going to minus the amount of frills, and the amount of frills we're working with is 4 inches, so minus 4 inches. So in total you will have 43 inches, and that's what we're working with. For the length of the wrap skirt, we're going to take the length of your client, the length of the wrap skirt they want it to be, and whatever that is, you're going to add 1 inch sewing allowance to that. So let's say my client's measurement is 23 inches. I'm going to add 1 inch sewing allowance, which will make it 24 inches. Now all these measurements is inclusive of the band and the frills. So 24 inches, we're going to minus the amount of frills and the amount of the band. So the frills I'm using is 4 inches, and the band is 1.5, so total 5.5. So I'm going to minus 5.5 to the 23 inches, and we're going to be having 19 inches, and that is the length of the wrap skirt we're making. So here, what I have here is 43 by 19.5. I'm going to fold it into 2 like this, and we're going to start taking the remaining measurements. This will be the back. Let me turn it this way. Now this will be the back seam, and this side will be the front seam. Next, we're going to be making a dart on this line, on the waistline. We're going to make a dart using the bust span. So the bust span I'm using is 3.5 inches, and I'm going to be making 2 inches dart width on that bust span. So coming in here, I have 3.5 inches. Now I'm going to make a dart that is 2 inches wide, so 1 inch on both sides. So I'm just going to mark it here and mark down 5.5 inches for the dart leg, and for the width of the dart, like I told you, I'm making it to 2 inches, so I'm going to make 1 inch on both sides. So you go ahead and do the same thing, and you connect the 2 dart legs. You can also take down the dart leg to 7 inches. It will make it sit properly. So you go ahead and do 7 inches if that's what works for you, depending on the hips of your client. Next, on the center line, you're going to go up by 15 inches, and you'll mark it here, 15 inches. And from this center line, you're going to go in 14 inches, and now you mark it. You're going to make a curve here for the wrap skirt. You can actually make a radius for this, but I'm using this method depending on the length of the skirt you're working with. So we're going to cut this out. Next, to get the width of the wrap you're going to be adding to this, you measure round this place. Whatever you get is what you will use for the width of the wrap skirt. So I'm going to take around the measurement of this place. Whatever it is, I'm going to times that by 2. Remember, this is still on fold like this. So whatever you get here times 2, you're going to times that by 3. So mine is 34. I'm going to times that by 2, which will give me 68. So 68 times 3. That will give me the measurement of the strips for the wrap. And that is what I have here. For the length of the frills, remember the length we're using is 4 inches. You're going to add 1 inch hemming allowance to it and ½ inch sewing allowance. So we have 5.5. So in total, you're going to have 5.5 as the length of the frills we're using. So it doesn't matter if it comes in pieces. All you need to do is just join them together before you start to make the frills. So I'm going to go ahead and join all of this to make one piece for my frills. To sew this, first of all, we're going to go ahead and close the darts first, and then we're going to go and join the frills. So next I'm going to fold this like this, as you can see. So you go ahead and fold yours like that and sew it. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Now this is how it looks after sewing it, after hemming this. Next, you're going to turn your stitch length to the highest length. Mine is 4, so I'm going to turn it to 4, and I'm going to make a running stitches on my frills. So here I am making the running stitches on the frills. You have to run 2 lines of the running stitches so that you'll be able to gather this. So I'll go ahead and draw the 2 lines that I have made and gather this. If you have a gathering foot, you can go ahead and also use that. I have a video on how to use gathering foot. I will drop that in the link below so that you know how to do that. I have also gone ahead and sewn the darts, so you go ahead and sew the darts. The next thing I will do is to join the frills to the skirt. So I will go to my machine and join it. So as you can see, the 3 times 3 that I told you guys, see how full it looks, the gathers. So I'll go to my machine now and turn this right side facing together, and I'm going to join it like this and sew it all the way around. After sewing it, this is how it looks. As you can see, guys, this is coming out so nice. Next, we're going to add the wrap to this. So you just go ahead and fold your fabric into 2 to determine the length of the wrap. You're going to measure from here to here, and you're going to add some inches to that. So whatever you're adding will be for one side. You will times that by 2, and that's how I got this. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this into 2 like this to get the midpoint of the back. And I'm going to, like I've already made the midpoint of the skirt, so I'm just going to go in from the wrong side facing wrong side. I'm going to go and sew that together, but first of all I'll make sure I pin it in place so that it will be easy. So after pinning it in place, I went ahead to sew out ½ inch allowance. Sewing the frills to the skirt, I'll go ahead and take one side of the rope. I'm going to sew it, so I'm going to fold it like this and sew close the outer edge, and then turn it the other way and sew it close. When I get to the skirt part, I will just skip that place and go over to the next side.